Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ja ku takuam sërish në emisionin ton të tretë Impakt. Kjo është një nismë vullnetare, të cilën neve sjellim për ju shikues, për t'ju sjell ju një frym të re mendimi të pavarur me të ftuarit tanë lidhur me opinionin e tyre dhe kontributin e tyre shkencor apo jo në fushën e historisë, fesë, kulturës dhe artit. Sot të ftuar kemi një doktor profesor turk, i cili është në Shqipëri së fundmi për studimin e tij. Ne do ta intervistojmë atë në gjuhën angleze dhe intervista jonë do të jetë e gjitha në anglisht. Atëherë pa humbur kohë, fillojmë me intervistën tonë. Dr. Mehmet Tutunxhu is born in Turkey. He lives in Netherlands, Amsterdam, and he is a doctor in economic history and Ottoman heritage in Ballkan, Turkey, and Middle East. Welcome, Mr. Tutunxhu. Since you are in Albania, we decided to interview. We have this pleasure to interview you, and we are going to ask you about your work and study. You are a well-known historian who has written a lot of books, and you are going to introduce us about for your work. So let's start. What are you doing in Albania these days?
Thank you for inviting me for this television program and giving me opportunity to speak about some words to the Albanians. I'm here for a television program. For the Dutch television, I'm advisor of the television program, and we are making a documentary of 30 minutes for the Dutch television about the, let me say, Muslims in Albania and their relations to the other religions. So we are 3 days here. We made interviews with religious leaders, let me say with the Bektashi, with the Muslim leaders, with the Christian leaders, with the politicians and other parties. And we are making this documentary for the Dutch television, and I hope we will give a good survey of the Albanian politics society for the Dutch, because Albania is not a very well-known country, and we are trying to make Albania more or less visible in Holland. So that's the reason why I'm here
in Albania these days. Okay, tell us about your books and your work as an historian.
Yeah. I am doing research on the Ottoman heritage in the Ottoman world. Ottoman world was a very big world, of course. Yeah. It contained the Balkan region, Anatolia, the current Turkey. It has also in the Middle East, let me say Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem, but also Egypt, Libya, current Libya, Algeria, Tunis, North Africa. So it contained three
different continents.
3 different continents and different seas: the Mediterranean, Black Sea, Adriatic.
Cultures,
So it's a big world.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm working on the heritage outside Turkey. So I left Turkey for the Turkish citizens, and I'm working mostly on the Mediterranean part of the Ottoman world. So I published a book about the Turkish Jerusalem, the Ottoman period of the Kudüs, the Jerusalem history. It's not very well known. Yeah. I have also published a book about the Ottoman Palestine, the Turkish Palestine, also not very well known. My third book was about Ottoman Algeria, the documents and monuments of Ottoman Algeria. And now I'm working in the Balkan region, especially on Albania. And I publish also many articles about the Ottoman documents, Ottoman epigraphy in the Balkans. And that's what I'm working on, my works.
So what these books brought special for the people who are interested in history? Yeah. What can you say about these books? For example, the first book about Turkish Jerusalem.
Yeah.
What is special in these books?
My aim is to give a complete survey, some kind of catalog. We call it corpus, a corpus of Ottoman monuments. So the monuments are studied in the history, in their context. So in their social, historical, political context, and in the context of the city. And what we miss in the current Ottoman studies is that they are studied separately, as if not staying in their context. So what I did with Jerusalem was placing the monuments in their big context of the Ottoman world. So what we see is that there are artisans coming from the Balkans working in Jerusalem. Especially from Bulgaria, from Albania, people coming to Algeria, working there in the monuments. These kind of things were never these kind of networks, let me say. It's a network of artisans in the Ottoman world, people coming and going and doing their job. Especially in Algeria, for instance, I discovered many, let me say, people coming from the Balkan region, Bulgaria, people from within and that kind of people coming and making epigraphy and painting inside the mosques. Calligraphy. And I found in Tunis, for instance, in the Janissary complexes, Kışla, the casernes, people coming from Albania, Arnaut, and that kind of people, and making their job. So this is very interesting to have these networks.
This is new for us because we know only political contribute of Albania in Ottoman Empire, and this is new for us also.
That's very interesting also to put these networks, and when you study from one city, you can connect this city to the other cities in the Ottoman world. So when you start from Jerusalem, you can go to let me say to the Vidin or to Berat, or people coming from Berat and making their also the tile makers in North Africa and that kind of things. It's very interesting to have these connections.
So they are respecting the original identity of these countries, the national culture in these monuments. And these
in every country where I come, the architecture is resembling, but they are different. So they are
even that they are an empire.
I give you an example from Jerusalem. What I know in Jerusalem, there are it's a holy city for the Muslims, for the Jews, and for the Christians. And there's the big mosque. Let me say Masjid al-Aqsa. That's the holy mosque after Mecca and Medina. Is the third holy city. So what did the Ottomans in Jerusalem? They didn't build mosques like the Istanbul style with cupolas. They did very small masjids. So they respected the holy place, and they didn't want to put a big mosque like in Istanbul, Sultan Ahmed.
With many cupolas.
So that's very interesting to see when you see. And,
really interesting. So the last book, let's talk more about this Ottoman epigraphy in Albania. Can you explain us a bit more about this book and this work? Was Albania an important country during Ottoman Empire?
Yes, I think Albanians were very important. I think they were the backbones after the Turks of the Ottoman Empire. When you study the Ottoman Empire, you see mainly the ruling elite containing three nationalities. These were the Turks, the Albanians, and the Bosniaks. They ruled all the other people. So the Greeks, the Arabs, and the North Africans. They were not important in the ruling elite. So the Albanians were very important. They were captains in the sea. The navy was depending on the Albanian captains. They were prime ministers, many from the beginning period. You can say
in Egypt,
even in Egypt, and they were ruling families. So the Ottoman history is, you can say, a part of the Albanian history is very important. I think this is a bit neglected in Albania and it's not much rewarded, but Albanians must reward. This is their history. What they did for the Ottomans, they did also for themselves. So when we study, to give us an example, when we study the Ottoman sea history, we see many Albanian captains, you can say pirates or other sort of captains, and Albanians were very good sea navigating in the period, and these kind of things are never rewarded or never studied.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing to come back to my book, this is a book about, it will be a corpus, a complete catalog of Ottoman inscriptions. And inscriptions means building inscriptions that say this castle or this mosque is built by this and this person. And also the tombstones. What I discovered is that during the long period of communist regime, mostly monuments were destroyed. We can say this, that even in Tirana, only one mosque remained from the 26 mosques that Tirana had during the communist period. All the mosques were effaced, destructed. So only the mosque of Etembe placed. And in the Etembe mosque, there are two inscriptions that gives the history of how this mosque was built. Yeah. First, the father Molla Bey started the mosque. He could make, he died, and later Etembe made the mosque complete. Yeah. So when we study this epigraphy, we can find the documents. What I did discover is that, for instance, that in Albania, most inscriptions are removed or not available or not to be traced, and I'm trying to set all these pieces of information in a book. So even the destroyed or only the inscription with a photo, there was an old photo, I am trying to complete making them in my book. So I try to make this book complete, and inshallah this year it will be published.
Inshallah, we hope so. So you are saying that you are completing the information missing about the monuments during the Ottoman Empire. So you mean the existing monuments, or even though that were destroyed during communist regime?
Yeah, what I'm doing is also to look in the literature and archives about the documents. So I work, for instance, Evliya Çelebi. He has left us a very good description of Albania. So when I find an information in Evliya Çelebi describing the city of Girokastro or Berat, then I put all this information in my book, and then try to trace what happened to this mosque. Is it destroyed during the communist period? Is it destroyed during other period? And do we have a plan? Do we have some other information from maybe old pictures from Berat, from the city? So try to reconstruct, let me say, all the effaced monuments and that kind of information.
Yeah, very interesting. So you are one of the person who discovered the inscription in Lezhes Kala. Yeah, is it so?
I have followed the discussion here with great interest, because during my research I came to the inscription of Lezhes. There was an old photograph of in the book of Mahil Kil, and I was very interested in that inscription because it is the only inscription in Albania that has the name of Sultan Sulejman. So it says Sultan Sulejman Kanuni has given orders to build this castle, and Dervish Muhammad, son of Uzgur, some Albanian architect or caretaker, has completed this building. So this is very information because it gives also the name of the Sultan and some name of Albanian architect who has built it. So it's
very interesting. We were important for the Sultan.
Yeah. And
he has had other things to think about.
Yeah, because it's the only inscription of Sultan Sulejman in Albania. So I asked my friend Auron Tare a very rewarded friend of me.
Well-known
Well-known
person,
arnauteve. Can you look for me this inscription? Is it in the museum? Is it somewhere? And what to be else? Because it's important inscription, and it should be sometimes, if it's existing, it should be exposed or anything. What we can do to give this important piece of information its place.
In which year was this happening?
This year.
This year?
In March.
In
March I had a discussion with Auron.
And now is having this vandalism there.
Yeah. In March I had a discussion with Auron, and Auron went to Lezhes, and he discovered that the inscription was in the basement of the museum. So I asked Auron what we can do about this inscription, and the government decided. My proposal was to put it in the National Museum of Albania. National Archaeology Museum or something like this, because this is important piece of information. So it's a sultanic, it's a royal inscription. That was my proposal, to put it in the National Museum, but the government, I don't know what their deliberations were, decided to put it in the castle back. And I think it's also a good decision, because it belongs to the castle. It's a part of the monument. It tells the story of the monument. It's 1521. When the Sultan was first year of his reign, Sultan Sulejman governed for 46 years. He was the longest governing Sultan. So it's also his first inscription in his first year. And the government decided to put this in the place, but the people of Lezhes, I don't know why didn't they appreciate this? I think every other place in the earth would be very happy with the inscription of Sultan Sulejman. I think the television and all the people in the Balkans, they love Sulejman very much because of this television and that kind of things. But the people in Lezhes, they didn't appreciate it, and they tried to vandalize, to make color with the.
We made an interview for this with two other historians about, especially for this case. I want to ask you. Because we are fighting on our past, and we want to look more European, to ignore our place, our important place that we had during Ottoman Empire. Why do you think Albanians were so important for them, for Ottomans, even for Sultan Sulejman? He decided during his first year of governing, he decided this thing. Why do you think we were so important?
Albania as a country was important because it is the place where you can reach Europe earliest. You can cross here from geographically. You can cross from Wallonia to Italy, and Fatih did also conquer some part of Italy from Albania. Fatih Sultan Mehmet, he came to Albania, and he conquered Otranto for a few years. So Albania was geostrategically interesting, and Albanian people were also very hardworking people. They were fighters for the soldiers. As soldiers, they were the very good backbone of the Ottoman Janissary Corps. Even the famous Iskender Bey was one part of the Ottoman army. You can say, for a part in his youth, we can say. So Albanians were one of the best soldiers in the beginning for the Ottomans, and strategically the country was, especially during the times of Fatih, and I mentioned Fatih Sultan Mehmet. He is the builder, the establisher of city of Elbasan. Nobody knows this, but there were
one inscription for this.
There are two inscriptions, and from Fatih Sultan Mehmet.
We can find them where?
One is in the city walls. You can see it. It's broken in three parts, three lines, and the other one, other one is not findable. It's lost, or it's stolen, or what. And the other one that is very interesting, Franz Babinger, the German Orientalist, made in the 1936 a book about Elbasan, how the Fatih established Elbasan, because he says these two inscriptions are the founding documents of Elbasan.
As a city?
Of the city, Elbasan. Yeah. And especially this long inscription that is lost, and I can show you the photo of the inscription. It's a very beautiful poem about how the Fatih came here and why he decided to establish Elbasan. So this kind of information is not known, but for even for the big Sultan Fatih, he has not much inscriptions in Turkey also. He has here he established one city, Elbasan, and Elbasan is a Turkish word. I don't know whether you want, but it means something like governing the country. So he made this.
We have other sultans' inscriptions here. We mentioned two.
We mentioned two. Fatih, Fatih. We have and Kanuni Sultan Sulejman. After Sulejman, I have not found a sultanic inscription. The last sultan who did many works for Albania was Abdülhamit II. The Abdülhamit did rebuild schools and built also mahkeme, the judges, courts, yeah, especially in Duresh, there was a court, and there should be, but they are all destroyed. Unfortunately, we couldn't find many more documents or monuments in Albania because
they were destroyed during communist regime.
During communist regime, I think mostly during the communist regime. Because mostly they were religious buildings or other kind of things, and all the monuments. So even when I say to my Albanian friends, in every city there were 30, 40 mosques and only one is left. So Ishkodra, for instance, only the what you say, the Kurşunlu Cami in Turkish, that's left, and the other 46 they were all destroyed. And I mentioned Tirana already. And in Elbasan is also Berat. There are only 2 or 3 mosques, and Korçe is only 1 mosque left. But there should be more. And I think when you excavate the archaeological excavation, you could find many more. And I didn't mention the tekkes. There were so much tekkes, and in all the places, the Bektashi tekkes established here, and other Halveti tekkes, other kind of things.
All this information we can find it in your book that will be published this year.
I hope, yes. I have written the manuscript. I work on the last pages, and I hope that this year it will be published in English and translated into Albanian. And
Albanians can find it in Albania or online?
Yes, it will be printed in Albania. I have a publishing house who is ready to print this book in Albania.
Okay, let's hope for a big success of this book. So let's change a bit our discussion, and we want to ask you about your experience here in Albania. How do you find Albania today? Because we talk a lot about the past. Now, what do you think about Albania?
Yeah, Albania is, let me say, like in the fault line of West and East. Its face is nowadays more to the West, to Europe, and it wants, it wants forget its past. But you can't forget your past. You are what you are with your past. Because of your past. Yeah.
We cannot delete and cancel.
No, you cannot delete, because you cannot delete your father or your grandfather. You are, your genetics are from. So I think Albanians should also be more proud about their past. They were great people. They established together with the Turks the Ottoman Empire. They were backbones of the empire. They have left in all the empire their imprints. If I may, I can show you one.
Yeah, of course.
One imprint of the Albanians. This. This is the flag of 5th Army from the Ishkodra. in Palestine. They were Albanians.
Group of Albanians?
Yeah, this is the flag, Sanjak, we say. And these were Albanians defending Palestine in 1917, 1916 against the British. So they were Albanians in Palestine in the Ottoman army, and
fighting for them.
They're fighting, and they
and
have
in
left.
This flag, they have written.
They have written that they
who
have,
they are,
yeah,
and they come from Shkodra.
They come from Shkodra, and they came defending Hebron,
Hebron,
El Halil,
yeah.
El Halil. So you can find many other imprints when I came. So Albanians should be more proud of their past. They should more learn about their history, not only defaming the Ottomans and saying that the Ottomans were bad and they destroyed us or they suppressed us. They were part of the Ottomans. They must learn that they were the Ottomans, and they should be more proud of their history and what the Ottomans reached in the West, in the East, in the Mediterranean. It was also the Albanians. We have in Turkey many Albanian governors, and I'm coming from Konya in Turkey, and we are very proud of one Albanian governor, Vali, and that is Ferit Pasha from Avlonia. We call it still in Konya, Avlonyalı Ferit Pasha. He established in Konya so much works for the people, bringing water, establishing hospitals. And we are proud. So Albanians should be proud of their heritage and past.
Because we knew how to govern once upon a time, and now we are not, because we are cancelling that part of history.
Yeah.
And so we don't know how to govern today.
Yeah, I think the Albanians should rediscover their history and award what they have done during the Ottoman period, and not defaming and giving all the bad things to the Ottomans and that kind of things. I think they should be more proud of what,
and not to blame our
and not
past.
to blame and not to
because we have a lot of values.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, we think we are in the end of this interview. We are thankful for your presence here, and we wish you a big success with your book, and thank you for this interview. Thank you. Të dashur shikues, kemi ardhur në fund. Kjo ishte biseda jonë me historianin e nderuar turk. Nga unë Nigina Balla, selam aleikum.